Well, my name's Caroline Poynton from Manchester Bury, and I thought I'd record this today because I'm not copywriting. It's got to be one of the most funniest talks I've ever seen in my life.
Now, I would just like to say that there will be politicians growing this morning on the opposite benches. The Messiah is on the way when he's arrived in Westminster. The deputy chairman of the Tory party, who is a man of the people,
Morming like Queen
Victoria did. Disappeared. He's just sort of turned up as a yob in an England football shirt, Matt, because what's happening?
You say man of the people, other people say communist muck. We're ready for it. We're starting early.
You're excited, aren't you? Where do we start? I mean, before we talk about Burnham, let's start with Starmer, because really, of course, every Prime Minister cries when they leave the most powerful job. But all those businesses, those pensioners, those waspy women, those servicemen and women, those farmers, those people
and me, and anyone else.
No police. I mean, he has been an unmitigated disaster, hasn't he?
Well, I mean, it's the end of a dark period for the country, isn't it? This is man, every promise that he made,
dark era, no?
He broke.
Yeah.
This is he broke. Taxes at a record high for anybody who's working. Benefits at a record high.
Sorry, he said the economy was stronger.
At least he's wearing what he wants to wear, though, thanks.
It's a record high for anybody who isn't. The number of police in our streets, down. The number of teachers in our
I feel more comfortable in just, like, people wearing what they want to wear, and it's not always just about fucking suits.
Yeah. 1 million young people without education employment.
I kind of like that.
Unemployment, the number of people going to
I'm not being funny, but that Alex Phillips, she's a bit coked on this. She's fucking top TV up there. I like Jeremy Kyle, he's always alright.
We'd like to see the back of it, but now we're going into 3 months of zombie government.
As long as he leaves Restore Britain alone.
Not at all.
Leave Restore Britain alone.
About him is,
it's not Restore Britain's fault now.
I was reading, he's a proceduralist. I was reading all these words, none of which I understand. He's a human rights lawyer, and Herma's his best mate, and he's very methodical, and he's not the sort of person. He had no gumption, but he had no emotion. Nothing apart from
when I say about the fucking king as well, and then Andy Berman has to swear an oath to the king.
I never ever felt that he believed in something. Even if somebody would believe in something to the absolute opposite to what I might think, I might go, well, at least you've got the
it is a bit funny,
desire to show nothing. Absolute sap.
He was the least inspiring person ever to be in number 10, I think.
Do you think?
I just think we sent that abroad to represent our interests. The end result was Chagos.
Yeah,
the end result was an absolute
destruction
of our relationship with the US. That special relationship has been through the ringer. That is what we were projecting to the world. That was Britain. That was our Prime Minister. We're glad to see the back of it.
We're glad to see the back of it.
Keith in Nottingham say you had the day off, Carl, and that what happens, it's the second coming. The only thing missing from the arrival of Burnham arriving in Westminster is a rendition of Ode to Joy at Donkey and Palm Leaves. Good morning, JK, Sean in Gloucester. Good riddance, Keith Stanley. You were not being missed, but a shame you didn't take the whole goddamn Labour Party with you. Angry Burnham will be no better and probably worse, but I hope he's so cocky that he will win, that he will... Oh, yeah, now, let's just talk about him, okay? Andy Burnham. Now, let's start with a clean piece of paper, because being a patriot, I mean that, what's been going on leaves me cold. I did a post on Father's Day. My dad's obviously dead, as you know, and I put, I miss you every day, old boy, but my God, would I love to hear what you thought of what's going on. Front page of the Mail, Messiah without a mandate. It starts already. Andy Burnham having won Makerfield, that sent a rocket up number 10. He wins last week with a majority of 9,000. Arrives from Manchester on train. We had sausage roll with brown sauce because it man up people. He arrived in Euston, ready to be sworn as an MP. We sent Samara Gill. This is brilliant. Have you seen this?
No.
Oh, funny. Well done, Samara. Samara Gill, morning.
Well, I don't talk like that. Oh yes, she's nasty.
On to the next.
She's nasty.
There we go, that was Andy Burnham through there on his way to the palaces of Westminster to be sworn in as an MP, and of course, on his route to number 10.
His route to number 10, it would seem, let's do this in stages, is good. Let's start with the swearing in, because I thought this was brilliant. Somebody on the Tory bench shouted, "He's not the Messiah, he's a which is of course from The Life of Brian, the Monty Python. He seemed quite cheery. I'm not that sure about a man with 14 bracelets or bangles, but there we go. This is the swearing in of AB.
I swear by Almighty God that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles, his heirs and successors, according to law. So help me God.
To be fair, the Tory shows that he's not the Sarah Burnham when he's a naughty boy. At least, even in that moment, he made me smile. What can we expect if, as people say, it will be a coronation, nobody else will stand? He's obviously brought off Wes Streeting, who I believe will be Chancellor. He's going to have to steer a path, which we'll talk about. But where does he start? On the front foot, the papers already say you're going to be the Prime Minister. You're not going to say to you, you're going to be the Prime Minister, and yet you haven't got a mandate from the people. But then you lot did that with Rishi Sunak and John Major.
But it's quite an interesting queue. The guy has come, so there are hundreds of Labour MPs in the House of Commons.
Yeah.
This guy's come from outside of the House of Commons to be elected in a deal with another MP who stood down, to make way for him to then arrive, and all of a sudden it sounds like he's just going to be getting the keys in 3 months' time. It's quite an interesting thing. It was not even...
Is that the Conservative argument? And I read this last night, the difference between, say, a Sunak and a John Major is they were elected MPs. This bloke's come from outside to exceed, it seems like there's an to the keys to number 10 without even having been...
Well, I think that's an interest. I think it is a bizarre thing that a guy who was not even an MP a couple of weeks ago is now lined up to become the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. That is a bizarre thing to pull it off. Someone said to you tomorrow, oh, well, what we'll do, somebody will stand down, he'll win the by-election. The reality is he won that by-election, not because people wanted to vote for Labour, not necessarily because people wanted to vote for Andy Burnham, because they wanted rid of Keir Starmer. There are people who went and then voted for Andy Burnham literally to get rid of Starmer.
If no one steps forward by July the 16th, Andy Burnham will be our next Prime Minister. That's 7 Prime Ministers in 10 years. What do you know about the man?
Not enough. And what we do know, though, is that he stood for the leadership of the Labour Party twice. Twice the membership of the Labour Party said,
Didn't he lose to Jeremy Corbyn?
Third time looking.
Right, good morning. The prize, the banana, goes to Pete. Morning, Pete.
Good morning, Jezza. Oh my God, when Stalin turned on those waterworks yesterday, right? Oh, that made me angry. He hasn't minded making other people cry, has he? What's he crying for? Because he can no longer carry out his project of destroying this country totally. You know, I'm glad that man's gone. Good riddance.
Brilliant. Good riddance. Matt's in Grimsby. The only thing Pat Starmer believed in and put 100% into was jailing patriotic British people. Good riddance to bad rubbish. Joy in Bedfordshire is absolutely spot on. On listing Starmer's shortcomings, JK, he left out one of the most important, not dealing with the grooming gangs and setting up the national inquiry. Completely agree. Thank you. Jason's in Pompey. Morning, Jace. Jez, 2-tier Keir to 2-year Keir. There is not a single Labour MP in the House up to the top job. So dire are they. They've had to parachute in the King of the North to save us. God help us. To the left, put everything you own in the box to the left. Let's talk about this because I was listening to this in the news this morning. Andy Burnham, let's start with a slate of clean paper, clean white paper, you don't say that anymore. He is a socialist in its truest terms. They talk about what a great job he's done in Manchester. I've just got a question for you. He said this morning, he's been made it known that he will follow Rachel Reeves' fiscal rules, because there's a lot of argument that, he'll just be left and he'll increase taxes and borrow money and go to IMF. How's he going to deal with the welfare benefit? Is he actually going to face up those Labour MPs? Starmer wanted to cut $5 billion off a £332 billion bill and couldn't get it through. What Burnham will go stand in front of them and start taking $50 billion off?
$5 billion. Welfare is going up by $20 billion this year. They are going to be spending $20 billion more. And the reality is you can change where to start at the top of that. This is the same Labour MPs, who oppose that, who put more and more tax on those people who work, and give them more and more benefits to those who don't. They are still the same Labour Party. Those people who walked through those lobbies and voted against the inquiry into the grooming gangs, those people who voted to see our veterans dragged through the courts, those people who are keeping taxing businesses into extinction. It's the same crowd. It's just another face at the front.
Well,
no change.
I'm not going to go into detail, but somebody I know very well said very soon, and Matthew Talbot said it actually as well, very soon after Starmer's election victory, he would be gone within 2 years, and people laughed. Well, if you read the front page of the Telegraph today, it says Burnham set for coronation, that the cards seem to have fallen in AB's favour. He will be in trouble by Christmas for the exact reason. I'm not even saying that to cosy up to you because you're right. All those things that need doing in this country, you cannot leave, as Starmer said, going, we have no defence and no way of paying for it. I mean, talk about I thought the beginning of the serious end for him was John Healey saying, hold on a second, mate, you're not even committed to saving this country, and in all the things that we should have said, grooming gangs, waspy women, farmers, veterans, all of that. So what? After the honeymoon period, what's AB going to do? Is he going to suddenly come up with money for defence? Is he said, I can tell you exactly what he'll do, and people will think I'm cynical. The only way the Labour Party ever pays for all the promises it ever bloody well makes is by raising your taxes. That's what will happen, right?
Well, I mean,
$1,000,000%.
we're talking about following Rachel Reeves.
She was very happy yesterday, did she? She's
the
gone.
one thing you shouldn't do is follow Rachel Reeves anywhere on the economy. When you look at what is happening, people haven't quite realised those businesses going to the wall. It's something like 111,000 jobs have been lost in hospitality. That's young people getting their first, foot on the ladder, getting their first job, their first opportunity. The economy is in dire straits.
But he said the economy was stronger.
Not only are they taxing everyone,
you're shaking your head. That's
borrowing
on the radio. So
they're taxing and borrowing and borrowing.
Let's do a David Lammy Marks trying. Your name? Your name?
David Lammy.
Okay. Is the economy stronger? Have wages risen? Has there been a big uplift in defence spending? A small boat crossings falling.
We're talking.
It's just unbelievable. It's a gaslighting pile of rubbish, man.
We're talking about breakfast clubs and kids out of poverty. Actually, what is that? 19% more people unemployed. That's people without a job, people unable to look after their kids because they haven't got any cash coming into the house.
Completely.
This is not lifting children out of poverty. You're putting the parents out of work.
Is this a new one, Rob? Yeah.
Oh,
Morning,
yeah.
Rob.
Morning, Jerry. This is the show. Great as always, Rob, on my way to work. And the other day I heard all them MPs in the House of Parliament cheering him when he was sworn in. Every single one of them greedy, snivelling, anti-British, patriot-hating gits sat on them seats. The only reason they were cheering is because they think if he gets in, they're still going to be in a job and they can keep their big fat snouts in that drop a bit longer.
Yeah.
But all them people that think he's the solution, they are putting their own personal gain and wealth above the safety and the sovereignty of this nation. This country comes before everything else, because without the defence of the realm, guess what? We haven't got anything else. We're done. We're finished. These people are beyond a joke. I mean, the last time Keir Starmer went to that meeting 2 days ago, he stood there looking like the bloke that was taking people's cake. People ignore him. He's supposed to be a world leader. Good God, he couldn't lead a donkey. The man's a good food. I'm glad he's gone. But guess what? Kevin's got an absolute bigger idiot in there. A bloke that is sort of like Keir Starmer made a real mess of this in the last 2 years. Hang on, hold my beer.
The morning call from Robbie. He's right though, and I'm not. People say, "Oh, now you're having to go at Andy Burnham." I hope Andy Burnham makes success of it. But I'm telling you here and now, if you've got 400 MPs who will not cut welfare to pay for defence, who will not make the police a police force instead of a club that goes, "Oh, let's have a chat." If you've got 400 MPs who, to be fair, probably went from Burnham because they think there's a chance that he'll save their jobs. Take away the Tory fund, take away reform, and all restore whatever. This is not going to be the job that Andy Burnham thinks it's going to be, is it?
The other thing, there's a very valid point there. These people, these Labour MPs, did not move. So when it came down to walking through the voting lobbies to do our farmers over, to do our veterans over, to do our pensions over, they walked through the lobby and voted for that. They didn't kick off at Starmer. They didn't say we're having this guy as Prime Minister. What did the message making?
Yeah.
But the only time they were willing to act, the only time they were willing to make a stand is when they thought they were losing their jobs. They saw those local election results come in, and all of a sudden they had us fine. They only had to save their jobs. They weren't going to stand up to this guy when he was trashing our economy.
Completely agree. 6:23, the day after Kia, two-tier. We did that.
Two-tier, okay. The tier.
Very sad to spend more time with his wife, but she's just a bit excited. 0344 499 1000, text to 87322. We'll talk Star, we'll talk Burnham, we'll talk football, we'll talk about a furnace that is the weather, but at the moment it's peeing down in London. Good morning. Welcome back to 6:26 Tuesday morning, the day after Terry Keary said goodbye, and the Messiah from North arrived on the train from Euston, first class. Anyway, Messiah without a mandate. The papers are already saying, front of the Daily Telegraph, Burnham set for coronation. The Times, Burnham angles for power. Matt Vickers, Deputy Chair of the Tory Party, is here. We're talking about what happens next. Let's just talk about the clamour already for a general election. Morning, Nigel Farage.
Yeah.
Whether it be a contest or a coronation. But what I do know is the British public have simply had enough of political parties chopping and changing their leaders.
Chopping and changing.
We
Chopping
vote
and
for somebody
changing.
in a general election to be our Prime Minister. We expect them to serve their term. And barring ill health or exceptional circumstances, what is going on here, frankly, is reminiscent of a banana republic that has totally devalued
A banana republic.
process of
Banana votes, yeah.
and democracy. I demand.
Well, that's what we used to call them. They're coming on the fucking banana boat.
The thing is, and this is interesting to ask you, Matt, because Nigel Farage is probably speaking for millions of people there. In fact, I saw a tweet yesterday, you played on the show yesterday with Mark, from Angela Rayner.
Oh yeah, we'll have no more.
Rishi Sunak, what is on a mandate, you need to call an election, this is an absolute disgrace.
We'll have no Keir Starmer,
And they've
will
done
we?
exactly the same. I've been very strong on this, whatever the party.
Telling us we're all far right.
Defect as an MP, I've said this repeatedly on the show. And
You're not allowed to say that, you're not allowed to say that. No, I'll say that.
I don't,
They've already
you're
got
going
that
to
in.
say to me from the Tory point of view, Andy Burnham wasn't even an MP. Whether or not, it's not
And what about
his
this?
mandate.
What about
And
this?
surely, in terms of morality,
What about
right,
this bill for the under
if you
16s
change
in the?
direction, which he's going to have to, that demands a fresh yes
All
or no
them
from
bills
the
that he's
British
brought in.
public, isn't it?
We say that as if this government was sailing in the direction it promised people.
Yeah.
You've actually seen so many everything that was in that Labour manifesto.
Well, I was going to say everything there is no promises or anything. It's all done illegally, so keep you putting it in. That's right.
It was given to the last Labour Prime Minister. He didn't deliver anything he promised.
It was all done under.
Rishi Sunak in, who said during the election campaign, I'm being honest, the leadership campaign, well, I'm going to increase defence spending to 2.5%. That was not in Boris Johnson or Boris Johnson's mandate, and it happened twice. I'm going to go at you personally, but in context for me, the whole thing stinks. He should call an election. Sunak should have called
I
an
think it was
election.
right. Sunak said that we should increase defence spending. There are certain things that happen when you're in
He should have
office.
called an election.
I think there are certain things that happen
Do you
when
not
you're in
agree with that?
office.
Do you not agree?
I'll come back to you on that point, but I think there are certain things that happen in office that you react to. But that manifesto, that promise on the direction you're taking the country in, people vote for that. If that means protecting the pensioners, those big things, those big iconic things that defined what this government did when it said no increase in taxes to working people. Yet they put millions of people out.
I get all of that, but my point is this. If you are all calling for a general election, Reform, the Tories, Liberal Democrats, whatever, is he still? Yeah, he is. Is that not very reminiscent? It's probably true. But you gave the job to Sunak, the Tories. You gave the job to Liz Truss, and it was Boris Johnson's mandate. And there isn't much difference in that. I think the whole thing is wrong. I'm being honest.
I think there's valid points there. I think there's very, very valid points there. But actually, when it comes down to it, it's not going to happen.
Are you frightened about Burnham in the Tory party?
No, I think. Do you know what? We're glad to see the end of Starmer. I think my worry is that there are a lot of people very excited that Burnham is a good change and a positive thing. I think their bubble is going to be burst. There's a reason he lost the leadership of the Labour Party twice. He didn't get.
And the direction in which you'll take the country.
It's very easy to be a mayor, do that job. It's very different to be holding the reins of power for the country, making real decisions about what you do with. As a mayor, he was giving out money and investing money that's been collected by somebody else. It's all very positive.
That's what you do as Prime Minister.
You make real choices when you're in Parliament. You've got to make choices between who's paying for it and who's getting
any choices.
So I don't see the 403 Labour MPs allowing him to hold a general election. It's not going to happen.
No. Okay. Jay, good morning.
Morning, Jez. I've been looking forward to the
Yeah,
show
yeah.
all morning. Been on the road a while, alarm clock
It
working and
will.
all that. Just want to say, I'm hoping Andy Burnham, I know he's a lefty, I'm just hoping that he can repair the relationship with the US. Because
He won't.
I tell you now, this uncertainty around everything with Russia and everything going on in the world, I think we need our biggest allies back on the side. And then, if he wants to work some magic and thrash out a deal for the Chagos Islands in exchange for all the money we need militarily, in other words, do a deal with the US, let them buy the islands, nothing to do with us no more, but we get the finances we need, because I don't think Miliband's going to give up his net zero money, which, let's be honest, what's more worrying at the moment? What are solar panels going to do when we've got ballistic missiles flying over our heads? Come on, Ed, wake up.
Interesting, 0344 411,000. Your text message is 87222. You can call, you can leave a voice note. Maggie in London, I have to admit, I shed a tear. I read the first line, I was slightly worried. Starmer announced his resignation yesterday, but mine were tears of bloody joy. Let the people decide who they want as leader, not another selection by elites. There's the argument. 21,000 people in Wigan have picked the next Prime Minister. That's quite worrying. Jackie, North Yorkshire, says, say we have a general election, would Dick of the North seat have to be voted on again? Wouldn't it be poetic if that was the case? And he lost it within 3 months. There we go. Interesting. Matt, morning Jez, morning Matt. 5, 4, 3, 2. He's gone. Thank God for that. What total disaster with Prime Minister. My issue is Burnham. No one knows anything about his policies, but he has no mandate. This is a scandal. If he's PM, he needs to clear out Reeves and all the other horrendous cabinet. I just fear it's going to get worse and quickly. I just pray he has some sense to put the country first. Good morning, Steve. Burnham has security escorts, helicopter surveillance, and hasn't even begun his life as an MP. Yet security for Nigel has been shrunk. Looks like we're still going to be in the two-tier society then, says Steve. Bill in Cheshire, good morning. The resignation, the podium, the deluded speech, the tears, the regrets. I have a few. The removal guys, well, at least they won't need a box for Starmer's achievements. Integrity, vision, personality, nowhere to be seen. Burnham, what the hell could possibly go wrong? Just about bloody everything, says Bill. Paul's already buggered off to Spain. He said over 400 MPs representing Labour in Parliament. They have to bring in a former failed MP to be their saviour. Says it all. Jez, Starmer's gone and we have Burnham or Blair 2.0.
Is that Paul Farr?
Richard's in Leicester, morning. Keir Starmer's resignation is an illusion of democracy. His exit satisfies public anger, but the system stays intact. He faces same donors, same policies, same institutional rubbish from voters. Soon the population will finish with
Spain? Fucking hell, there's not much safe in fucking Spain. You've seen it?
Dave was devastated. He couldn't even reign without a
fucking
speech
Spanish government, it's just as bad as fucking Starmer, man.
Somebody else. Today should have been a bank holiday. Happy, happy days.
You fucking need to go
By the
further
way,
than fucking
could I
Spain.
just say, says Dave, what's going to happen to Breakfast Club?
To get away from this shit.
My mate Rob in Newcastle, who's paid, millions of pounds.
Every
worth of
fucking
tax
European
on his
country's
life.
gone.
He fancied a bacon
Spain's not
sandwich
going to help
the other
anymore.
night. Genuinely true, he drove all the way around
Spain's not
Newcastle
going to help many people anymore, man.
There weren't any. There
That's
weren't
what
any
I've
at all.
seen it. Fucking Spain and France.
Starmer said in his speech about the country.
That's always in England.
She said it was England.
That's what I'm saying.
What was he talking about? And Bill in Romsey, this is great. Morning, JK. Morning, Matt.
Western
The
England,
Burnham needs
mate.
3 months to sort out policy, yeah? Let me help him.
Italy,
Pay the waspy
Spain,
women, close the
France.
borders, sort immigration, reverse net zero,
Yeah.
cap welfare,
Do
cancel
all that,
charges
and we're
against
all
service pay,
sorted.
and improve our bloody armed forces. They are. It took me 12 seconds. Matt Vickers is in the house.
This guy is arriving, no mandate. We
No
don't
fuck
even
no.
know what it's about really.
Doesn't know what a fucking
We know that
day
he's
he's
big
going
off
about.
Billy when he was here before.
Because
It's scary.
he wouldn't have a
It's scary
fucking
that we've
clue.
got
Got a witty
unknown
bunny head.
entering, having gone through what we've gone through.
He's gone, he's gone, he's
You
gone.
met Andy Burnham and
Never met Andy
you're
Burnham.
like not as well, aren't you?
No.
Can you not go share sausage roll or something with brown sauce on?
It's quite a big place.
Sausage
but-
roll? I don't
South-
speak
south-
like
south-
that.
north of Watford, there's quite a bit of country.
Do I sound like I
15
speak
years
like that
in
whatsoever?
Manchester, as you know.
I fucking don't.
And I love the North. I think it'll be very interesting to see what he does. The top team. I noticed in sort of almost precision-like detail. with
He
the second
Cockneys.
of Starmer resigning, older West
Courtney's.
fallen in
Yeah, I
behind
get back to
Andy
Courtney,
Burnham.
lads.
I don't
Courtney
think he ever
bastard.
had the 81, by the way.
Stay
but
fucking
you could
London.
say, if it turns
Stay
out, he's
fucking
played a blind
London.
with West Streeting, because I think, you can all laugh at me, West Streeting will be the next Chancellor.
Well, you know, I'm sure it was just a coincidence that he came out batting Bradford, and the minute it was nothing to do with the fact that I'm sure it called. Well,
Takes
no
down,
no discussion
no,
about
the rest of them, like I said, take David Lammy, the rest of them.
Yeah, there'll definitely be some women.
Take King
So let's
Charles
look at
with
the
it as
cabinet
well.
from your point of view as the Tory
Get fucking
deputy
rid of that
chairman.
woke twat as well. The
Let's
King.
start Rachel Reeves. Stay or go?
Go.
Go quickly. She should have been
Go.
She should have been gone 2 years ago.
Absolutely.
The damage she has done is not known yet. We will be recovering from her time.
David Lammy.
Leader
Go.
voting company. I mean,
Meh.
hand in hand with Starmer, goodbye. Not even God bless. Go back to an accounts job.
Goodbye, man. God
Yvette
bless.
Cooper apparently told Starmer to go. Could have been last minute.
Oh yeah,
I
Beck
think she's
Cooper.
in trouble as well as Foreign Secretary.
But then again, she was telling him to go, and the fact it was
At the last minute when it was a done deal. That's
that might mean,
political,
yeah,
mate.
but that might mean there was a done deal. That might mean that she's had assurances about where she's going next, and that might be why she was on board with getting Starmer out the door.
Shabana Mahmood.
Shabana Mahmood, she's
Staying.
stepping on toes. She's winding some of the lefties up, which is a positive thing. I'm sure she'll stay.
I think she'll stay because that will balance it out for him. I think she'll stay as Home Secretary. I think Wes Streeting will be Chancellor.
Yeah.
Lammy, bye.
Bye.
Don't.
Nah.
She'll let the door hit him on the
Nah.
head.
Yeah. What about Ed Miliband? I mean, there's this talk about. I know.
God.
There's all this stuff about he could be Chancellor. This man wants to spend 800 billion.
I don't think he's gonna be
net zero
Chancellor.
Rubbish. I mean,
No,
he is.
because he's
dangerous.
not.
But
He's
got the
just
balls
not
to stand up
popular.
to
Unless
him.
you
It's
at least.
terrifying the thought that he could become the Chancellor.
I don't think it's
Don't.
The most anti-business man. Do you know, we basically...
You couldn't make him Foreign Secretary. Could you actually do you know who you'll laugh at me. Do you know who I'd make Foreign Secretary?
Ed Miliband.
Absolutely would. If I was Andy Burnham, I would make Wes Streeting the Chancellor. I would keep Shabana Mahmood, and you can all laugh at me. I think John Healey would be the perfect Foreign Secretary. Bit of gravitas, bit older, bit more respectful.
John Healey.
Stuck the knife in.
Reasonable, sensible.
Reasonable. I prefer John Healey on the international stage than Yvette Cooper or any other
Yeah.
bad people. Healey might get that for me. That would be my opinion.
It's quite,
Get rid of Ed
you look at some of
Miliband.
these players and the thought of some of them getting any more power. I mean, Ed Miliband,
Get
is
rid
the
of
prime
him.
example.
It's a dick. Get
His
rid.
hand should be nowhere near power. You should not have
Yeah.
levers on anything.
No.
This guy's there as our energy secretary. He's importing oil and gas from abroad. While
He needs to get rid of all these
take
dicks.
drill our own oil and gas.
If we want to start again with the Labour Party, he's going to have to, let's say, get rid.
Drill, badly drill.
I think it's just not going to happen. I think this
I don't think he'll do it.
Drill bats, this
Yeah.
loony crowd, like it's
Bits.
just
They won't do it because then you get all the fucking,
I'm joking.
these fucking
You also
wokos
got
back out.
Nottingham
Oh, we
says
can't
the
improve
cat, he
the
must just go, oh,
environment.
here we go again.
Yeah, and then they'll start
Debbie from
spraying the
Surrey.
fucking orange paint
He didn't
everywhere
cry
and
when
whatever
those
else.
lovely girls in Southport were murdered, or Henry Novak was murdered, or more recently when that
You know,
gorgeous
that's all
baby
they'll do
Preston
then.
lost his
Woke-o'd
life.
about
He
that
only cried
part and
because
then
he's
we
losing
can't
the
win.
trappings of being Prime Minister.
Well, have you seen the
Good
state of the
riddance.
place
Frank
anyhow?
Boston's
So what the
brilliant.
fuck? There is no
Starmer
nature
waking
here,
up
so
this
don't
morning saying,
tell us about killing
"Oh,
nature.
that's so
The
terrible,
nature's
Monday.
dead.
I dreamt I resigned and Andy Burnham took my job.
Have you
it
seen
was
any
terrible.
nature?
I'm secure. I don't flip-flop. Too late.
Do you see much
See
nature in
the sun was
fucking
there.
London? I don't
There
think
wasn't
so.
a particularly big crowd of people.
You can't go to the
Old
fucking zoo no
Herbert,
more.
he's
Someone
gone,
might
isn't
suppose
he?
it fucking
He's a
crocodile
disgrace. He
thing
should never
or
get a job in public life ever
whatever.
again. Sean, good
Come with an eye.
morning.
Morning, Jeremy. Sean
Can't go anywhere.
Kingsby here. I listened to the Prime Minister yesterday, and forgive me for having
So
zero
fuck about the
sympathy for this
fucking,
clown. Firstly, mate, you should be
like you say, the
sat on
fucking
national TV
windmill
almost crying his eyes out. It makes him look
and a few
pathetic.
fucking solar
And
panels. I
secondly,
don't know
we
what
have
they're
to
going to do.
listen to him blowing smoke coming
You
out his
understand? We're blowing
backside,
smoke
telling us
in the
about
wind.
all this good stuff that he's done, how good of a leader he's been. Well, if he's been that good, Jeremy, why is his own party forcing him out? Because he's not good. He's the worst
Yeah.
Prime Minister.
And Andy Burnham has got not going to be much better. He's going to be until next year. Could be next year.
We know what's coming now, mate, don't we? More
It's going to be next year.
tax
And then general
more
election.
Government spending on crap. Great show, mate.
Oh, welcome back.
Because don't forget him, we're not going to get him now till October.
Wake up to know that our Prime Minister is no longer
And then it's
going
more
to
or
be
less
Sir Keir
Christmas.
Starmer. Hurrah! I hear you saying. But
And then-
don't worry, man from North, Andy Burnham.
It's going to be next year,
It's already
April.
caused huge consternation. The 400 MPs are
I
parachuted
reckon.
in a man
Is it April?
Well, failed to be the leader 3 times. Burnham, Messiah.
Might even be earlier, but-
mandate. Burnham, front page of the Time, angles for power. Front
I've
page
got
of
a
the
feeling
Telegraph. Burnham
next year.
set for coronation.
I don't
The
think
current
reform
brilliant.
ready
He
yet,
thinks
like you
it's
say.
all over,
Nigel's
and
a
it
bit
definitely is
kippy
the
for all of
start.
that.
Can we go back? Matt Vickers is here. Can we go back to like ideas?
Not
of
that I
what we
want
think
Nigel
might
in,
be in the cabinet?
but he
Because
still
what's
was a
been
bit
really
icky on that.
relevant to Andy Burnham, and I've been watching all this in Manchester.
So-
3 women Starting with Lucy
And they haven't
Howe,
really
who
seen
got
the story
sacked,
yet.
I think
Maybe
it's
they're
got
getting their heads
secretary by
down
Keir
to do
Starmer
something
Bell,
about
then
this.
became the deputy leader of the
Or
Labour
it's because
Party.
they are dealing with the grooming
Is
gang
she gonna be
scandal.
deputy prime minister? 'Cause what about Ange, not Postecoglou?
I
Ange
can't
Rayner.
expect
Well,
people
I
to
think
do with
Angela
everything,
Rayner
man.
as deputy prime minister. I
Do
can
you?
see that happening. Seem
Yeah.
quite close. They seem on it.
I think, like you
what
say,
about
the
Lucy
right
Howe?
need to
Lucy
reunite
Howe,
a little bit
she
better.
was the Labour Party giving
somewhere.
Keir a bloody nose, wasn't she? She was
Yeah.
elected as deputy leader of the party
Yeah.
after he tried to
Yeah.
But it's
axe
Nigel
against Richard
Farage
Phillips
and his
I don't know where she'll land.
She might lose her
throwing
job,
people
which would be
under
the
the bus.
best thing ever, because what she's done for education.
that
But you
people
got to
don't
fit in
want.
Rayner, you got to fit in
Well, we
Howe.
don't want
And
people
then the
throwing people under the
extraordinary
bus
thing, the
either,
woman,
mate.
Louise Hay,
That's
was
just going around
convicted
in
of
another circle.
fraud by false representation after 8 months as a government minister. The conviction related to that incident, I think it was 2013, when she reported being mugged and included
Unless
a
it's
work mobile phone in the list of stolen items to the
correct
police.
reasons and all of them.
She
things.
later discovered the phone had not been taken. Just saying that. She's the one with the pink hair, like a right lefty, right? Who suddenly reinvented herself. She's got this sort of deep red. I mean, doesn't look red anymore. Looks just like Rachel Reeves with a
don't
bob.
really
She's
care. I
apparently,
can't
and you'll
stand
know
her.
this, not only run his campaign, but he's running around Westminster thinking about who will get what jobs. Louise Hay, a convicted fraudster, it's starting already.
She's quite resourceful, isn't she? But she seems to have put herself right in the middle of it. I don't know how to me she was with Andy Burnham before, but to have got in that
Well, Andy
position where she's
Burnham needs to
right
fucking
at the
pipe
centre of
himself,
being
get back down and
anointed
say,
as the
fuck
next
off
Prime
till
Minister of
now.
the UK probably means she's on the trajectory
Because
to
he's
get
not
the
going to
job.
do him no
The
favours.
question is, I think it's a great text from Charles. He's
By
already
bringing in
gone that
people
far
that
away 'cause he doesn't lay
nobody
guns
can
either.
stand.
He says Burnham's
Or it's not going to do him no favours, but bringing in people like, oh, it's her with the dog whistle, we're giving her a dog whistle out of here, Andy Burnham.
I mean, if nobody
It's not,
else
I'm going to say it's not going to do him no favours
Not too much
with him cozying up to the people that have been in the grooming gang scandals and the rest of it.
To think you can turn
Gonna
that
do
over
him
again.
no
This
favours,
guy
that.
got elected to Parliament, is about to become the
I
Prime
mean,
Minister.
Miss
All
Street
these
was
things are
with the
many
grooming
curious
gang
things.
is a
It's an
bit.
incredible thing.
I
The
don't
guy
know,
who's
but
mayor up in Manchester decides
I'm going to say he's probably the only one that he's going to have.
because the Labour Party is so desperate. They know they've absolutely destroyed our economy. They know
Yeah,
they're
but
the
they're
most
desperate, and like I say, we've got
unpopular
Andy
Prime
Burnham,
Minister
that's it.
they weren't bothered about all this until the local elections made it very clear that those guys were all going to lose their jobs. They're now desperate
bothered.
for a solution, and they think that this guy is arriving on
Yeah.
his white horse to save the day.
He's
I'm
not.
quite sure that's how.
I'm
It's
totally
not
with you
gonna
on that.
happen.
Interestingly, in the Telegraph, page 5, there's a little bit about
Oh, I
how,
can't stand her,
the
mate.
remaining star
Get rid of
allies,
her
which
with
I
that
know
teeth
there
and
are,
that. I'm
are
sorry, I
Darren
don't care.
Jones
Get
to run.
ripped.
Can we just point out, Darren Jones is the idiot who turned up on Question Time and said,
The
"Listen,
fucking
because
muppet.
Mr. Reform
Oh,
person,
man.
I've seen all those votes
Just
come
a-
over, and 90% of them are women and children.
Please, just stick with
I
that.
don't think you should bother standing because you're patently even more incapable. It is quite interesting to see how bad they all are, isn't it?
There'll be no contest.
That's what I'm
There'll
going
be
to
no
do.
contest.
That's what's not going to do Andy Burnham
Now,
a
will he
favours.
be called? I thought about this on the loo this morning. I don't know
You've
why.
got to get rid of them.
Will he go and represent the United Kingdom as Andy, or will he be Andrew? I mean, you know.
Like I say, I
Prime
keep
Minister,
Shemay
how you
mood.
doing, lad? I mean, it'd be interesting. I don't know.
It'll be Andy. It'll be brand Andy.
Maybe she might be able to do a bit better of a job now Keir Starmer's gone.
This is what you think about
I think
it.
she might come out of her shell a little bit better. She
Do you
may
know the most
mood.
famous story of me on the toilet?
If she don't put everybody in a fucking
5
mood.
to 8, 7 years ago. Phone goes.
She'll
ITV,
do alright
we're
if
acting
she,
a show,
you know,
as
gets
Victoria walks in the
with
door
everything
and
a bit.
says, "You're having another baby."
If
with a
she's
pregnancy
allowed to
test.
get to grip with
Basically,
things
my
a bit, that's the point,
fell out of
innit?
my
I
arse
was going to
twice
say,
in
well,
one
the point
day.
is, isn't it, is if she's allowed to get to grip with what's needed
Just a question for
in
you.
her side.
Now, obviously, 2-year Kia
Yeah.
is only packing his bags and leaving.
Burnham's got a lot if he's going to
resign,
think he's going to do
And
anything.
then I assume Andy Burnham was going to take over. But
Oh, come on,
again,
he
that
can't have
for
her in
minutes, it means
That
that
brown
the
hair witch.
cat is going
No.
to be in charge of the country.
I just don't care. I'm
Does
sorry,
the
get rid of
cat
her.
get a pension?
Like
every
saying, you've
time
got to
he's
start
Prime
listening to
Minister?
people, yeah.
Because
Get rid
if
of
he
her.
does, that cat
For
will
one.
be worth a fortune.
And have
Honestly,
Neil
what a
done.
fantastic point.
That's
So
what you've got to do, you've got to get rid of a few of them.
So you're driving to Admiralty Arch the other day, or the bit at the end of the Mall. Do you know what happens when a Prime Minister changes?
And he's going to have to bring new people in that's not to the cabinet.
So as the Prime
That we don't
Minister
really
drives
know.
up the
And I'm
Mall
not being
through
funny,
the
but we
big
don't want
arch,
just Gandhis,
the
right?
next
We want
person in is
people that
an
meet
office over the arch,
people
watching
that
them
are
drive up, and then they
for
drive
the
back, and then
country.
they've driven at exactly
I don't care if the
minutes.
whatever, but we
Catches
don't
the
want,
Prime Minister of the United Kingdom.
like you're saying, people are Andy-Burnham. We don't want people that are going to represent people of the country, innit?
I'm just being honest.
It's got a chance to actually maybe swing it about a bit.
They should be
Don't
made to
know.
fulfil the promises made at the general election.
I'd probably bring Angela Rayner back somewhere. I'd keep fucking Rachel Reeves out on, sorry. She'll have to go. Rachel Reeves has to go. You could bring Rayner back a bit somewhere.
Starmer would like that, and Trump would like
I've got to say, you could bring her back a bit somewhere.
The thing about Starmer is she's got 2 problems and then listed 3.
Fucking on the leash and get rid of her. I can't stand her. No, I can't. Please get rid of her. She don't deserve a job. After saying that, we'll bring the dog whistles out. We'll bring the dog whistle out to her.
For the country, 0344 499.
To our children.
So as an overview before we do.
And mine could be my little girl next, or anybody's little girl's next.
Joy that he's
Let's
gone,
not just say it
concerned
couldn't
that
be.
the bounce might affect the comeback, or what?
I think,
And then,
I think there may be a bit of a bounce. People might like the idea that something fresh, that there is an end to Starmer, everybody's happy to see that.
Yeah.
So there's going to be some element of bounce, potentially.
yeah, a little bit of bounce, but Andy Burnham's not going to do it much.
He's gone, but I'm slightly concerned about what, we don't know what Burnham's about.
I just don't like the sound of it. Nobody likes him anyhow.
More and more tax people in work.
You're saying everybody knows Andy Burnham. Nobody fucking knows Andy Burnham, there we are. They said nobody knows Rupert Lowe. More people know Rupert Lowe than they know of Andy Burnham.
Comes next.
This isn't meant to disrespect
There
anybody.
you go. How many people know Andy Burnham, so how many people know Rupert Lowe?
Keir Starmer was about as useful as a one-legged man.
A lot more people know Rupert Lowe than Andy Burnham. I mean,
mind you, Burnham could be worse.
the older people, me, I might know Andy Burnham, but the younger people, I'm going to say the younger generation might not really know of Andy Burnham that much because he's not done much
Yesterday was a good day for the UK. Good
for Manchester anyway, has
that
he?
something the Tories would
So what has he done?
I mean, we're ready to fight a general election.
Apart from filled it with immigration.
I mean,
He hasn't pushed back on any of it. The Rochdale, Oldham, everything. He's involved. He was the mayor. I'm going to say he never pushed back on anything.
And don't tell them that I rang you after a couple of drinks.
So therefore, he's just as bad as the
I
rest.
spent about 20 minutes with your leader and was very impressed. On the
I don't
back
feel like
of
I
what
would
happened
fucking say anything
in,
different.
Tell me, Makerfield. You said to me that a lot of people just went to vote.
No, Nigel Farage, I'm not
Does
for
the
him
Tory
either.
party think
Sort
that
of
that's
theory.
the beginning of the end of the reform bubble?
People voted Labour in Makerfield to get rid of a Labour Prime Minister. That is just a fact. And actually what happened last week, the big election, the by-election, I went up to Scotland being on.
Like that
We didn't
point.
just win it, we got nearly 50% of the vote.
That was because of the oil and gas thing.
It was an incredible result.
It was the first. I mean, they didn't get much publicity, but it was pretty astonishing.
It was a huge. But that's what happens when you talk to the people who are losing their jobs because of this Labour government. More and more people are losing their jobs because of this Labour government. It focuses minds. They need people who are going to look and be responsible with our economy, and that's the decision.
Yeah, and I think reform should stop bullying restore.
Interestingly, slight segue. I got to
Because then what do we want? Reform and Conservatives?
People more than anything. So Wednesday night, sat there in Scotland, in a pub, watching the match.
No, I think it should be two brand new parties altogether, which is Restore and Reform.
When a goal is scored against England,
Restore going against, well, not going against Reform, but just going to be the people
you bring us nicely on in your
keeping
football shirt
Reform in
tonight.
line, I
Of course, England
suppose.
plan to send on Boston.
Doing the
as
job of what Conservatives should do.
The players take on Ghana tonight at 9 p.m. You're a true footy fan, aren't you? Stockton Town United FC.
I'm only in it for the fun.
And we have to have two teams at the end of the day, can't just have one.
Nobody's ever heard of Stockton Town.
We have to have two.
They will do.
So Reform need to stop criticising things, stop Britain.
Edinburgh League.
Well, there is criticisation. You've got to have criticisation on both sides.
England's
Both sides, still.
It's going to happen, isn't it? It's going to happen.
No, it's not. We need a defence. 9 o'clock. Oh, don't forget everything you
What we
need
need
to
to
do
do.
with the most extraordinary
thanks
football
for that.
tournament in the world on our sister station.
Oh, don't do football, for good God's sake.
Also, I don't need to. Do you know what
Right,
today is?
get off there now, man. Yeah.
This is. I'm surprised that you
I
didn't.
don't do
fancy
football,
me.
I'm sorry. That's one thing I don't do. Right, if I can get a shower. Yeah.
So it's over, everyone. It's
finished. Rupert Law has come out and said that he hates you all. That's the end of the party then, I guess.
No.
Or maybe that's not the whole story, and maybe people are just targeting him and using his own words against him, taking things out of context, spinning it in a way that is meant to destabilise what is a unified front. I don't know, could be that maybe. Let's find out.
That's your phone partner, isn't it, doing it?
Yeah, guys, I said that I'd cover this because what happened was a little bit weird. It was a little bit weird. I went on my X timeline and I saw that there was a video highlighting something Rupert Law had said, so I wanted to check it out. But I noticed that below that, there was another video talking about what Rupert Law had said. And directly below that, there was another one. And there was another one. And there was another one. And another one. And I've never seen anything like that. It's on my timeline. It's recommended for me. Just 1 billion of the same videos. So I was like, that's a bit weird. And they were also saying things that were kind of similar as well. Like this guy was saying this is why they keep Rupert Law away from the public. And then, more or less word for word, this foreigner was saying the same thing. This is why they keep Rupert Law away from the public, away from journalists. So I'm like, what did he say? What did he say that's so bad? Now, they're framing it as though he came out and said that he hates everyone that's right-wing. Here's the clip, and we'll watch it. This is the clip that they're circulating.
And I detest far-right sort of, ethno-nationalist or neo-Nazism. I've never been driven by that.
Now, a rational person, upon hearing that, would go, oh, he doesn't like extreme variations of a political philosophy, which often lead to death and carnage and misery for millions of people. He doesn't like that. That's pretty reasonable. But if you're not a rational person, or maybe you're vindictive, or maybe you have malign intent, then what you're going to do is clip that 8 seconds from a over 1+ hour interview, and then spread it around the internet, claiming that Rupert Law has betrayed his base somehow. Or we can watch the fucking video in its entirety. So let's do that instead. Let's go from when he was asked to the question that made him give that answer, and let's find out if there's anything wrong with it.
Well, I do think there is a longer conversation to be had about the tension between left and right. And I will say my position, I come from the left. My position has evolved quite a lot. I do think there is a shared responsibility for the present collapse. Part of it comes from the right, part of it comes from the left. I'm much more concerned about the aspect that the left is in charge of at the moment. But in any case, I think both intuit that there is something systematic and intentional about the elimination of the structures that have made all of the marvelous things that have taken place in the West possible, and it is a little hard to wrap the mind around why those with power would do this. It does not, yes, I can imagine that they might have short-term objectives, but long-term, it appears to be the killing of the goose that lays the golden eggs, and it is hard to imagine that they will produce a replacement that even serves their interests, whoever they might be.
Well, Rupert Law doesn't answer this directly, so I'll just jump in here. Well, it's not one person or one group of people. It's probably a bunch of different factors and pressure groups and organisations and thinkers and leaders acting together. With the shared hatred of white people and the Western world. They're not bothered about the golden goose. They want the golden goose to die because the golden goose is a threat to them. They hate the golden goose. No, I don't believe that there is a plan to come out of this and be better. The whole point of this is to make us a mongrelized version of what we used to be. Prove me wrong.
Well, it seems to me, Brett, that the thing they're most frightened of is the individual. We talked before this interview about Elon Musk, who's criticised now for being the first trillionaire. Why can't we celebrate his success? He has been the most successful entrepreneur on earth. He has created, by buying X, a free speech platform, which to some extent I think has challenged this malignancy which you're talking about. And I agree with you. I think, and I don't consider myself either left or right. I just think I'm founded on common sense. The problem is we've been dragged so far to the left that anyone who just expresses common sense is considered to be from the right. Now that is bizarre. And even today, you've seen in the papers, you know, we're being attacked. We've got supposedly neo-Nazi supporters. Well, I don't know of any party that doesn't and audit its membership. And at the end of the day, I think if you have those misguided people making decisions within your party, that's one argument, which I think even merits discussion. But if people want to sign up and support the party and come canvass for the party, I don't know of any party that audits its membership. And equally, I think a lot of the damage is done not by necessarily the right. Some is, and I detest far right sort of, you know, ethno-nationalist or neo-Nazism. I've never been driven by that. Equally, I'm not driven by what I call the right left, which actually is capable of
the radicalised left is
if not
worse.
That sounds pretty reasonable to me. I don't know about you guys, but that sounded entirely like what he's been saying all along. He's a nationalist. He's not an ethno-nationalist. He doesn't want every single brown and black person deported from the country, a Jew, obviously. No, he's a nationalist. He's an old-school conservative. He's said that all along. Nothing's changed. It's just the policies that he wants align with the policies that I want. Now, it's not getting rid of everyone, but it's getting rid of tens of millions of people. I think that's fair. I think that's fine.
That shouldn't be in it.
I don't see what the big deal is. But the thing is, like I said, let's have a look at some of the people that did
and then the people that do live
some
here.
people on the right wing, they to be on the right wing, that are just
I'm black. I'm Muslim. I Chinese.
Division among
I'm
our
white.
base.
Can get on with our
there's a
lives.
bunch of these right-wing grifters coming out and clipping Rupert Law, again, from a very long interview, clipping the
In a
7 seconds at him
way.
as though he said something wrong. Trying
Nothing's
to
ever going
create
to be
a division
perfect,
in the
nothing
rights. You've
ever
got
is.
Posey Parker coming out and doing this, you've got the Nationalist, you've got the Knights Templar International. They sound right-wing, don't they? Guess not. And then you've got Paul Golding coming out doing the same
But we
thing.
can
You've got
take the
Ralph
crime
Raymond
levels
coming
and
out.
things back,
I'm expected with that one. And if you don't know who it is, it's this fucking monstrosity here. This abomination of human DNA mixed together to create an amalgamation of what looks like a gormless Slav. And then of course you've got that thing next to him. And of course you've got Basin Bulky coming out and doing her usual grift, trying to create division, trying to stir the pot. You've
The
got the
lefties again.
UNN coming out and just
The
jumping
ones that
on the
pretend
bandwagon.
that are in
You've got this
reform.
foreigner coming out and claiming that there's something wrong with Rupert Law and that's why, again, that he shouldn't be on TV or that's
No,
why
he
they
should
hide
be
him.
on
You've got
TV.
Angelo Maxner, sounds right-wing again, right? All of these people coming out and they're just like jumping straight away without
watching it.
looking at maybe the full interview. I don't know. They're all clipping the 7 seconds, the 5 seconds. What are you doing? Like, what are you doing? You're punching right. You fucking clowns. You fucking scumbags.
Yep. No, I fucking
And
told
you
him.
can
Well,
have
leave
Matt
fucking
come out
Rupert Law alone.
and comment on this, which I'm kind of
Yeah, I'm
surprised by,
fucking
but
sick of
as
him.
Rupert
Leave
said, okay,
Rupert
screw
Law
it.
alone.
Equating ethno-nationalism with
He should
Nazism
do-
is
he does need
absolutely
protection,
incorrect and
Rupert
frankly offensive. It's offensive. I
He
think
does need
England should be
protection.
90% plus ethnically English.
Just like
I'm not a
fucking
Nazi.
Nigel's
It's
got
obvious that he's put
off
positions
dodgy
on
money.
the
Or,
same
oh
as
yeah,
well.
I found out where some of the
Because
money
there
come from
are
now as well.
ethno-nationalists for
Someone
Israel.
that
I don't
donated
think
to
that he's
fucking
talking
Boris
about the
Johnson.
thing that you're
Great.
talking about. I think he's talking about
Oh
what he
great, well someone
imagines
donated to
in
Boris,
his
now
mind
someone's
is a
donated the
Nazi,
same
a
sort of
literal
person, because
Nazi,
the same sort of
a
person now
sort of
donates to fucking
genocidal
Nigel as
maniac.
well now.
That's
Great.
what he's thinking of.
So
I'm
we're going
pretty
to be
sure
not
he's not
different.
thinking of people that just want their country back. I'm
But
pretty sure
then
he's
we
not
don't
calling
want their
you a Nazi
donations,
either.
mate.
In
I
fact,
don't want
think he
fucking
wanted
dodgy bastards
explanations
donations.
of
Rupert
the
Lowe
Nazi.
doesn't want their
He
money.
was just trying to rationalise the previous question, which I'm sure a lot of these fuckers didn't even listen to.
Because
That being said, I am not going to grandstand and defend what is a grown-ass man. If he wants to clarify his position on Israel,
I'm going to
if he
say,
wants to
I don't
clarify
give a
what
fuck about it, so I'm sick of
he
hearing it.
would think
We're not in Israel, we're in
or a
England.
neo-Nazi, or is a ethno-nationalist?
And Israel's part of it anyhow. They're all part of it, mate.
Exactly what he thinks
They're
those
all
things
part
are.
of getting our
So
country
there's
gone.
absolutely no ambiguity.
Which
He could do that. That's fine.
totally,
I'm sure people
like I say,
involved in
I'm
it,
totally aligned
then
with certain
everything
things
is
of
laid
getting
out on
certain
the table.
things gone in the country. I am
Maybe if he does that,
I'm totally aligned.
politically,
Getting rid of the government
it's
and the
probably
king.
not going to be good if it's not on the side of the vested
Although
interests.
I still want
let's
a
say that.
monarchy.
So, politicians, they all play a little game. I'm sure Rupert Law, I mean, in this interview, he said,
we are
"I
still
just
going
tell
to
the
have
truth. I am what I
politicians.
am. This is my
You
position. I don't like Nazis, neo-Nazis, or ethno-nationalists, which in his mind are all the same thing, whether that's right or wrong. Call yourself a fucking nationalist.
Well-
Why do you have to put ethno in there? Because
Well,
the
whether all
ethno
this is right or
putting
wrong.
ethno in there
We might as
means
well
that
shut
you
up with all the
want
ethnos and this and that.
everyone gone. All the
Because
colours.
we'll all be.
If you're just a nationalist, well, it's a lot softer.
Everything's
isn't
going
it?
digital
And then, of
and
course, once you're in
AI,
power,
AI.
do what you fucking
So
like
we
then.
might need to fucking do what we need to do. And basically, let it in. Let the AI, let the technology in. Because we might need it. But when it's done in the correct way, this is what we want.
And I do want to pass this message on to my favourite audience members, of course, or
So they just do it on purpose to rip
Brexit
that
is
lot.
10 years today we voted for
Yeah, we did.
Brexit, biggest democratic vote for anything in the history of our country. We voted to leave the EU. And the man who was, of course, instrumental in that is Nigel Farage. Let's go straight to him. Very good morning to you.
Good morning.
Thank you very much. To be fair, I think the really happy day was tomorrow, wasn't it? Because that was when you stayed up all night. Some of us got a couple of hours gift, woke up to the fabulous news. I mean, a lot of people are saying, oh, it hasn't worked, we didn't get proper Brexit, what was the point? What would you say to that?
Yeah, what a morning it was. About 4 o'clock, the sun was just coming up over the Thames. I was in a nightclub, actually.
Of course you were.
Well, of course I was. Yeah, dare to dream that the dawn is breaking on an independent United Kingdom. Yeah, look, it was the right thing to do. Of that I have absolutely no doubt whatsoever. But what has happened since has been, well, shameful, frankly. Many in Parliament, including the Speaker, John Bercow, refused to accept the result, thought we were all morons to have voted for it. They never respected it. They did their best to overturn it, to stop it, to make us vote again. And then when finally, in 2019, the Brexit Party in the European elections got rid of Mrs May, in comes Boris, I thought, hooray, hooray. We're actually now going to get what we voted for. Not just leaving the European Union, but using those powers to cut immigration numbers, to control our
But we haven't got that, Nigel, have we?
to get rid of excessive regulation.
Because you left and decided to give it up.
And what happened? We got the Boris wave. The Boris wave. 3.8
Yeah, you're not going to
million
send them back,
people
are you?
let into the country, only 17% of them on work permits. Well, it's almost unbelievable to think about the scale of
Because
what
it's
they did.
impossible for you
And there
to
were regulations. Everybody from individual computer programmers to fishermen
entire
thought, this is great,
communities.
the rules are getting easier. And I have to say, Kemi Badenoch did play a role in this. She could have
it's
got
not.
rid of thousands of EU laws as a minister, didn't.
About the
And
size
will
of
wasn't there,
Birmingham
not just
and
from
the
the-
rest
from
needs to
government.
go.
And so
Birmingham
we
and
finished up
Manchester.
in a
What
place
size of
where,
that, that's what
yes,
needs
of
to go.
course, in foreign policy terms, we stand taller on the world stage. Yes, of course, if you want to roll out a vaccine,
All
you
the
do it
ones
more
that have come
quickly
from the
than
Boris
leaving
wave
EU.
need to
All
go.
of those things, our trade,
I'm going to
our
say all the
growth,
people that have come for the
actually,
last 10 years, mate.
is,
Every last single one of them
higher
more or
than
less need
France
to
and
go.
Germany and Italy and all those things.
Apart
But
from the
we
ones that
expected
are
to get immigration numbers down, they
to
went
be
through the roof.
in
And
the
that is not a
country
failure of Brexit. That is a failure.
for proper
In fact, I go a
reasons.
bit further than that. A betrayal by
And they
the
should be
middle class
documented, the ones that
and what they were
aren't
elected
meant to be
do
here,
and
they should be
obstructed
documented very well.
in
And
that referendum.
And yet, on one level, you could argue Brexit did work because we have full democratic accountability.
So you can do
and
that
it means
part.
that every time a government fails after promising
And the
us
ones that
every
aren't meant
single
to be
government
here,
in 2010 almost
all
has
the ones that have
promised
been
to
put in these
after Brexit since 2020, every government
accommodations, now you're going to have to take them out. Not just out the hotels.
But let's face it, that was as a result of
And
Rishi
there's
Sunak's
still a lot of
policies, and we're
hotels
still
yet.
nowhere near
I was going to say, well, you've got, I mean, they'll say how many hotels, about how many, they'll say some hotels, but there's a couple,
as
I'm
happened
going
in
to say.
2024, in which case it has worked because they're democratically accountable. They can't just blame it on the EU.
No, they can't. You're right. I mean, before they'd say, ministers would shrug their shoulders. I went to Brussels, did my best, but sorry, we got outvoted. No, the finger is very firmly pointed now at government, at ministers. But interestingly, Julia, you may remember, in the years running up to the referendum, I said my intention was to cause an earthquake in British politics. Well, the earthquake happened 10 years ago today. What happened on May the 7th in the local elections when Reform smashed the Labour Party in the north of England, which led to Burnham putting himself up? You know, we're still going through the aftershocks. The aftershocks of that referendum. You know, our two traditional parties have not adjusted to.
Well, certainly the other parties have not adjusted to it. I mean, we had Keir Starmer. You talked about the 3 years people trying to overturn it. Keir Starmer was instrumental in that, as Shadow Brexit Secretary, not a Democrat. Liberal Democrats, of course, not Tories, frankly, working against the democratic mandate of the people. Andy Burnham, about to get a coronation, we believe, as the next Prime Minister of this country. He, like Keir Starmer, an avid Remainer, an avid rejoiner. He tried to talk it down during the election voting area, but of course we know what he said only a matter of a few months ago that he thought that